No one knows me. I know this can sound a bit much, but let me explain. You know, I just feel, and it's not that no one will. You know what I mean? It's not that I'm saying this is it. No one knows me. That's it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying currently nobody knows me. And even anybody I really speak to, they don't. No one really understands. No one understands it. And that's the thing about Sonder. You know, everyone has their own complexity to their lives. I'm not saying that people are just gonna understand me off the bat or to get it, but in ways, yeah. You know, because a lot of people who could relate to me would understand it, but I can't relate to many people. I mean, it's hard for me to relate to anybody around me. It's I don't know. It's like those few things I used to relate to people with. That was like partying, smoking, drinking, video games, cars, social media stuff, which I don't really care about anymore. Cars, of course, I love. Video games, I still deep down like video games, but I don't enjoy them at all anymore like I used to. And I barely play them like I used to. Like barely play them like I used to. And it's just like the things I usually do and talk about and think about. Most people, I'm not saying this as like I'm special. I'm not. Everyone is smart and special in their own way. I'm just not the one that, the majority who I can't. It's hard to say this without sounding like that, but it's just the fucking truth. Like I'm not going to say that everybody thinks this way. They don't. Most people don't because again, like the schooling and all this other conditioning that in the world that pushes them in a direction that doesn't allow them to get to these points. You know what I mean? That's just how it kind of is because of the way the system was created. Because they don't want people to think independently. They don't want people to understand what's going on around them. They want people to be clueless. They want them to be controllable. They want them to be all of those things where, they can extract and make sure they are obedient to people, listen to this person, like to never really have an independent kind of position in life and in the world. Like think about it. Like if you really think about it, you can understand this if you don't already understand it because everything was created for a reason. Even like if you even think something about like the internet, the government was the reason for that, so they can have connections between whatever. I'm not gonna get deep into that crap, but like it's always comes back to power. And I mean, it always comes back to there being like, of course, there could be other benefits from that. Like we're living like kings that 200, 300, like 500 years ago, they could never imagine living like a peasant that we are now today. Like basically, a peasant has gained a king's living standards, but they still like have the direction of a peasant. You know what I mean? They still have the obedience of one. They still have this or that. Way smarter though, obviously. Again, like if you can't really the inequality would be way too high. It already is, but like it would be unprecedentedly high if our quality of lives didn't go up in any way. And of course, it's still like it slowly goes up too, which is crazy. But I really wanted to talk about this because I like to have, I like to put my thoughts out there, and I like to be able to have this as like some sort of also like a diary in a way, like a kind of like a video diary of me through my journey, to be able to document in some sort of way. But yeah, like everything was created for a reason for power. Like not every single thing, but most things. Because again, power, like the moon, we never would have went to the fucking moon if, Russia wasn't trying it. We didn't get to this whole space race, and we went back to the moon because China's starting to do that stuff. And like we want to make sure we're the best at this. Like the government will only interfere if it's, consolidates their power or enhances their power. Like that's the entire purpose of literally everything the government does because it's still actually a kingdom. It is a kingdom at heart, and the nobles are the ones who, pull the strings of the kingdom. The king is just the one who's the president. It's the one that controls who basically does, it controls the kingdom for the nobles and does jobs for the nobles and basically keeps everything in order for the nobles. So the nobles can continue extracting what they want, continuing to grow their own individual power And I don't know, most people don't understand any of this. And it's because again, school doesn't teach you that shit. They don't want you to know any of this stuff. They don't teach you the reason behind any of this shit. They didn't teach you what school was created for. They didn't teach you where the fuck school, like why are we in school? Why are, like I know education itself is important. That's their entire like kind of push for it. It's like, oh, education. But yeah, education's amazing. Obviously. Obviously it's amazing. But it's the incentives of why like it not even just why we have the system we have, but like again, like the conditioning itself. And I mean the learning itself. We could have a way better education system that actually fucking teaches people to individually be, not independent and to be, powerful. I'm not saying powerful like in the power way that I've been talking about. I mean powerful as in like as an individual who, can shape their life, can become who they want to be, who can, who's able to direct themselves, not just, oh, he told me to do this, he told me to do this, oh, he told me to do this, like being like the fucking person who like goes to everybody for everything. Like I even see this in groups, dude, where like the groups I'm in for the work I do, like people are like, "Oh, how do you do this? How do you do that?" For the most simple stuff that they could research if they understood how to independently do these things. But they want the professionals, they want to hear everything from them. They want to have the entire plan laid out for them. They don't know how to individually create things for themselves. And they always have to go to a figure to do this. Like I have to learn it from this person. No, 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 you can learn it from yourself. I'm not saying from yourself internally. I'm saying you have the resources at your fucking fingertips. We have the internet, something that has infinite knowledge. You have everything, every fucking book, every fucking historic piece, everything in the entirety of human history that's been documented is on the fucking internet, and you can learn that. And I mean, you can learn that if you actually put your mind to it. People just are so dependent. And that's what they want people to be. They want them to be dependent so they can control them in whatever way they want. You know what I mean? Like they use fear mongering and all this bullshit, trying to fucking lie to you constantly just to keep you in check. Like it's fucking disgraceful, bro. Like, and I actually see this shit. Like, but many people do. Like again, the whole purpose of this is that most people around me don't. No one knows these things. No one fucking talks about it. No one is chasing something bigger. Everyone wants to just like stick with what they have, and that's great. You can live what you want to do what you want to do, but like it's just nothing fucking changes in this world if people are like that. If everybody's like that. If you just, oh, we're gonna still let the rich people do what the fuck they want. We're gonna let them do whatever they want. We'll fuck keep sucking their dicks. Do whatever they want. And I mean, like it's people are so it's so upsetting to see this because like I know what the world could be like and like where it is now, it's very depressing. It really is because like I know what it could be if people actually fucking did something. And I understand it. Like people would be like, "Oh, it's just me. I'm not gonna do much." But what if every single person said this? There are people out there working day and night to make your life better, my life better. Thousands, millions. they're, they're working their asses off and they don't get the credit. They just want better for people because everybody fucking deserves it. Every single person deserves it. We all deserve a life that as humanity could fucking provide for everybody and every living being, everything, our planet, everything. We can do so much fucking better if it wasn't for these powers standing in the way. And the crazy thing is that, if imagine like let's say like people did revolt. They're gonna have they literally have the people who are the very ones they use, who put their own fucking life on the line to protect the system. Police or military, not every one of them, obviously. A lot of them feel wrong or they don't feel right for it. But again, they've made this system where people rely and depend on it so fucking heavily that it feels like it's your entire life. We used to we used to be in villages where we would like share things. We would do things for each other. Really, but now it's like you have to slave away just to live. It's incentivized slavery. It's modern day slavery. And yeah, of course, work isn't theoretically a bad thing. I'm not saying it is. And people like, have the people like love the idea of it and they enjoy it. you're doing your job or whatever, sure, yeah, I believe that's great. But at the same time, most people who work jobs they would like to work too also just can't fucking live from that job. Prices and wages are prices go up, wages stay the same. It's not it's so fucked, you know what I mean? How things have become. And I used to be able to work at McDonald's and buy a house. That tells you something. The government used to own all these assets, and now they're selling off all these fucking assets to all the rich dudes. So now the government's getting fucking deep throated by these rich dudes yet again. And the government is control because again, the rich can pull the strings of the government. The government's just like the facade. It's like the thing that's like it says it's for your protection and all, but again, the ones who control it aren't for you by any means at all. Every president gets lobbied in that they want. They can spend billions on ads, millions on ads to make the one person they don't want to look fucking terrible. And then the people believe it because they're dependent. They know they know the psychology of people. They have people who literally work in psychology at food places, for these ads and everything. They know how your brain works and they study your brain to sell to you, to control you, to fearmonger you, to direct you to do something in whatever direction they want you to do. And like that's real. You can look up anything you want that I say. I'll tell you right now, it's fucking true. I'm not 100% on every single thing I may say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong with things, but I know what I'm fucking talking about because I myself am independent when it comes to myself. I research these things. I read books. I understand the world. You know what I mean? But most people don't because again, like they're incentivized to not be. They've created the system where, you feel it's your entire life on the line if you challenge it. And that's what they want. They want you to feel like you have no other choice. It's the illusion of choice. It's the illusion of choice, and they've mastered it. I will tell you, their system is very complex and good. I have to give them some credit where it's due. Like they've done a wonderful job where even the people who are being used the most would protect it with their fucking lives. Now, isn't that crazy to hear? Like when you actually understand it and you see that these people would even put their entire life on the line for something that doesn't give a fuck about them. Like, isn't that crazy to hear? I don't understand why no one can look at that and be like, all right, it's cool. No, that sounds awesome. Like it blows my mind. It really does blow my mind, and I don't blame them though. Because again, I can't blame anybody. That you are the way you are for a reason. And that's why schooling. Again, you can research it. The Prussian model is where they got it from. A man named Horace Mann is the one who implemented it into the United States from Massachusetts because he went there and he saw how amazing the system worked for creating, again, obedient ass civilians and soldiers, and like it created such a great order to control their people that, Horace Mann was like, God damn, we got to have that back in the States, and every country started adopting that. Prussia was just the one that mastered the model. School bells were literally replicated by the fucking factory bell. They wanted you to think that work was work and like to grow up to being so desensitized to it to where, it just feels normal. It just feels normal. And they created the normal. This isn't normal. This is the complete fucking opposite of normal. This is unnatural, if anything, obviously, but like it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. And again, like they've even Rockefeller, man, he invested. He was like the heaviest investor in education, and he was the one who literally said, and this is stated by him. I don't want a nation of work. I mean, I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers. He doesn't want people to be independent because, again, he benefited. He's just like all the other rich fucks who want to benefit from this system and they milk it and milk it. Like the US right now, they're going to debt like fucking insane. 40% of the damn budget, 30 to 40% of the budget is just going to interest on debt. 40%, 30 to 40% of all your tax money goes to debt that they just spend recklessly because the government is their incentive is just to spend all the money and all the money they can. They spend do me a favor if you see this and look up how much they spend on parts for the military. A bag of screws being thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, that would be $100. Like what? Do you see what I'm talking about? These companies that contract with the government take such an advantage of it They take such an advantage of it because they know the government's got a fuckload of money that they could take advantage of. That's why they charge up the ass, and then they make them dependent on that company. So then the government feels like they need to just get from that company. Like, just look it up, please. Like, look it up. Look shit up. There's research. Research. Learn to research. It is such. This is the one skill that'll quite literally save you everything. To understand things. To become independent. You know what I mean? And I'm still not independent completely. I still work a fucking job because again, you have to survive. It's so fucked up. It is so fucked up. And it's not the fact that I don't care too much the fact that, I have to work a little bit. The job I work at is right now gives me I get to spend all my time on it basically on my computer working on my own business that will get me out of that job. And I'm grateful for that. But like it's the fact that you used to be able to work at fucking McDonald's and buy a house. You used to be able to live completely fine for the bare minimum. You basically had your basic securities for barely working. You act just for contributing something, and like now you can't even. Like I'm tight as fuck on financials. I'm in debt, obviously. I'm not the smartest with things. I wasn't. I've gotten way more intelligent with these things, but I've kind of already fucked myself earlier on. But it's nothing like college debt. It's only like a grand or two. It's nothing. But like it's nothing that a few clients of mine won't solve. Just one deal would wipe my debt. That's why I'm working my ass off day by day and night to get this next client and to expand, to continue doing that. Because it'll wipe my debt. I'll be free, and then I can just fucking go all in like crazy. And it's not, I'm not saying you should listen to me. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, not financial advice with anything. I'm just saying to research yourself. That's the entire point of this is research, fact check me. Don't just listen to me. You know what I mean? This is the whole point of this video. Don't just listen to me. Just research things yourself. Understand it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to just listen to people and just take it as what is. You know what I mean? Because most people could just be bullshitting you, and you're just gonna trust that. You're gonna trust that, especially the fucking president, bro. Presidents, they always just bullshit, just to keep you in check, to make sure you're not gonna be fearful, or so that no one revolts, so that people stay obedient, things stay working as they want them to work, so that their system that benefits them so highly, keeping them on their high horse that they don't. I don't know. I'm starting to go a bit off track, but again, the whole point of this was just that most don't understand me when it comes to these things, and it's definitely very, 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 very isolating. Very isolating. But that's the thing. I understand this. I understand it where like, I know this is temporary. Like I'm gonna meet people by, posting this content, by continuing my journey. I'm gonna come across people that I attract. You attract what you are. People who understand me. People that I can enjoy sitting down talking about these things with without them being feeling like trying to change subjects, or having no understanding of it to the point where they can't even fucking talk on it. They just can't. They'll feel fearful in ways. They'll feel doubt. They'll feel like it's too much. They'll feel like it's crazy or whatever, because again they believe in what they believe, and most of what they believe is what these very fuckheads at the top, these parasitic fucks, want you to believe. And I'm not playing that shit. I don't care. Like, I'm not special in any way. I'm just not putting up with this fucking bullshit. I'm done. You know what I mean? I'm so sick of this shit to the point where it's like, I'm so looking forward to just have my business up on its feet so I can get the fuck out of this country. The fuck, not even just this country, bro. Like, just to be independent to the point where if anything happens, I can move. If something health happens, I can cover it. If just like to live my good quality of life where I eat all the foods I want without the foods kind of fucking my budget, because I pay for incredibly whole foods because I'm very big on health and like making sure my body gets the stuff it needs. Like the only sweets I eat, these are cookies I made that are peanut butter, coconut sugar, and an egg. These are something you can eat two a night, and it's natural ingredients. Your body processes them naturally. Your body, you can eat this and enjoy it without, your body fucking destroying itself and creating cancers because of that shit and other diseases and crap that they'll feed you fucking pills for to throw a band-aid on it without understanding the root cause of what causes it, which is the food in the fucking first place. I could go on forever. I genuinely could go on forever with this stuff. It's been a year plus, like a year and like almost a year and a half at this point of me doing these things, like understanding, researching, trying to learn things. Like I couldn't speak all this stuff if I wanted to in this one video, and this shit's getting long as hell. It's already 20 minutes, but I don't care. I want to have something as a diary in my book. I mean, uh, for me to come back to. I like to document. I want to document my journey. Like right now, I'm living in a fucking trailer house. I'm not saying I came from fucking straight poverty. I have a lot of well-off family. Like not rich, but like I have some well-off family that, I could always fall back on if I need it, and I'm grateful for that. Of course I am. I'm grateful to even be on this screen here instead of being in a country where I'm getting fucking bombed and treated like garbage. Like they don't fucking deserve that. Like, are you kidding me? Like this is the type of shit that drives me. Like, this is the type of that drives me. Like, I feel like everybody deserves so much fucking better, and they do. For what we are capable of, this world could be. And I'm not saying it has to be a complete utopia, or it could, but we could get so close to that if people, or even to that, if people actually locked the fuck in and weren't power hungry. Because again, like this is the whole game. Think about it like this: every good guy in history, philosophers, or anybody who knew these things when nobody else knew them. I couldn't imagine being a philosopher back then, bro. Holy shit. We're literally nobody but the rich that literally used it as their advantage to control knew these things. So they were going crazy. People thought they were fucking crazy, but like they were right. And that's the funny thing, bro. You can't like this. It's really not no such thing as crazy in a world full of lies. Like it's like the world's full and full and full of lies and bullshit. People trying to deceive you, people trying to sell to you, people trying to control you, and it's just like it's everywhere. So like it's what sounds crazy. Like that's why a lot of the people who are on drugs and shit, they have nothing better to do but to like they're the ones who understand things too. Because that's why you think they're crazy. They're also on drugs, and some things they say are definitely crazy in ways, but a lot of them know these things too because they're the epitome of who gets affected by all this bullshit. And a lot of them see it because they're not like doing the status quo shit. Yeah, they're on drugs, but like they're usually the ones who don't follow the status quo and like understand that this world's more fucked up than people want to admit it is. You know what I mean? And some just use the drugs as again they use the drugs as a way of not seeing those things, and that's honestly why I quit smoking weed because I do it every night, but like I'm not gonna quit weed forever. I'm gonna indulge in edibles once in a while. At one point, once I'm off my feet more. But smoking, no, I can't do it anymore. I want my respiratory system to be intact and effective and efficient for health wise and longevity wise. But like, it's just like I was smoking every night, and I will be honest, like when you do smoke, it doesn't like I would think hard on things while smoking. Yes, it would make me dissociate a lot because of the way I see life and think about life because of like this like being like whatever the fuck we are experiencing. It's very trippy. And like again, me seeing it that we're just a universe split into a billion, trillion, uncomprehensible amount of pieces, just reflecting upon itself. I just believe we're just the fragments of things that have evolved to the point where we are able to reflect upon itself, and we might even be the divine thing, whatever it may be. But it's just like that shit really did make me not think as much about what's going on. Like I could like kind of distract myself in a way. But even though there's times where I would still think heavily on it and it'd make me think a bit deeper on it to the point where I do get a bit more anxiety from it, but that shit just gave me anxiety anyways. Like we do every night now. That shit just gave me anxiety. Plus, like I'm way better in like social scenarios too, because like even though the way I think about things now, like this is another thing when people not understanding me, like every interaction I feel, it just doesn't feel right. I mean, because like everybody I talk to, they're the ones that I want to help. You know what I mean? And I'm also in the same boat. That's why I said that like my why is genuinely just to make this world better. People fucking deserve it, and it pisses me off so much. I can't even tell you how much it enrages me for like how the world works today and what these people deserve and what people go through because of what these fuckers are doing, especially like again poor countries. It's the same gist, you know what I mean? Like poor versus rich, but like the rich countries are the same way. They use the poor countries and they extract from those countries. They use the resources. You know, Africa, the king or the whoever controlled Africa when slavery was at its height, their own leader was selling them out. Their own his own people for power. That one dude, he sold his own people out for power. Because it wasn't just, Americans running in capturing these people to be enslaved. It was literally the leader who was the one who, was the whole contact for the whole slave trade. He was their contact. He would literally sell their own. He was selling his own people out, like, and the resources and everything. Because again, the person who sells it out individually gains more power, and that's what makes it incentivized. It's just the world's incentivized the power more than we could even think of it at this point. I don't know. That's why I said like think about like chess. You know what I mean? Like everybody's playing chess normally, right? But no, most of them are fucking cheating. Most of them are cheating, and when you're playing it right, trying to do the right thing, of course it's gonna be impossible. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna have the bad guy fucking cheat and then win no matter what, because he's gonna do whatever it takes to fucking win, regardless if it's cheating or not. So how could the good guy win? Like this is why it feels like impossible, but more and more people are contributing good, and that's like the thing we need. Because yeah, it can seem impossible, but each person who contributes in their own way collectively is what makes that difference. Like I said, there's people. Oh my God. Sorry, grandmother walked in. Another thing I can't wait for even more isolation. I'm not gonna lie. Like it would be nice just I can't I'm looking so much forward to just having my own fucking place, my own solitude, to just do what I want to do. And like I love her, but like fuck man, sometimes it's just like I wish I just had isolation. Even though already feel isolated, even though like with family and friends and anybody, like I still feel heavily isolated. I feel it's like being in a crowd and like imagine like all the colors, like just like regular one color people. Like I just mean like stick figures or some shit. Like everyone's like just like a white character, and then I'm like that red one sitting in the middle. Because again, I feel so isolated. It's like no matter how many people are around me. Besides, like again, of course, the ones that are who actually do get it and understand and like talking about the shit and like actually strive to be better. And I'm not saying like people are bad where they are, or whatever. Like no, you know what I mean? Like no, I'm saying people. Like just fucking experience. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole purpose of life in the first place is just to experience life itself. So like regardless of any being or thing or whatever, every single thing ties back to just experiencing it in their own perspective, their own unique way, their own unique experience that is just contributes to something bigger. There has to be, of course, something bigger, but I don't know. I don't want to yap too much about this, but I don't really care how long the video is at this point. You know what I mean? This is YouTube. I'm not posting this fuck ass shit on TikTok or Insta. I'm sick of that. There's no point of me putting this stuff on any of that other than like just like the picture of my thumbnail and the video so I can direct people to this video because I can't do it anymore. Just having a clip will never give enough context for what I actually think and want to talk about or whatever. But yeah, again, the whole point of this is just mainly for me because I want to look back at this and be like, damn, I was, I don't know, but like at the same time, there's so much more to look forward to. That's why I love experiencing, just love what I'm doing, what I'm building, and what I'm building towards. That's another thing, bro. People think that's the problem with the systems we have is that everything is short term. We have 4-term presidents, which obviously we need to make sure not one person can hold power. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we shouldn't have fucking people thinking in the short term are like, oh, I'm just gonna do what I want this term, make it seem good short term. But long term, it's negative because they're just making it look good short term for the long term compiled negatives to keep adding up over time. Like our environment, like they're thinking short term profit, short term efficiency, short term whatever. But long term, it's fucking our planet up, our home, people's quality of lives. Um, like I said, that's my why. It really is my why to actually help direct, to be someone who contributes. And when I say this, I'm not thinking small. You know what I mean, you can think, oh, I'm gonna do little things. Like, and honestly, any little thing counts. You know what I mean, like any oh, blah, blah, blah. Any contribution helps. But I want to do something big. I mean, the biggest foundation ever, ever. Like, I mean, no foundation would top it. Where it can help direct a better education system, basic security for everybody involved, such as food, shelter, everything that they deserve to fucking have nowadays, to help poor countries, people, the climate, anything that, not to the point where I'm spreading myself too thin, where like the budgets are just too little for each, where it doesn't make a long term impact like I would want. I would still like have it where like I focus heavily on one thing and then I continue funneling into that. And when I have more room, I'll start heavily going to this thing. And then we'll just continue doing that until I can help as many sectors of the world as possible. And I want this foundation to be fucking massive. Like, I mean, I'm gonna have bare minimum 50% of my wealth every year to go to it. I'll go insane with trying to gain investors, donators, everything to have the best and most efficient systems, integrating even my own business systems like Zytra. I could use Zytra to build automated systems to make it as cheap as possible, but as effective as possible at achieving it. So we're having money really, each dollar really goes a long way instead of like, drowning in like employment and all this crap that's just like, of course, I'd want employment, obviously, but I'm saying like not at the point where I'm employing for every little tiny thing that doesn't need to be employed, where I can save the money to invest more back into the foundation. So, yeah, I want to name it like Project Humanity. That'd be great. That'd be amazing. I can't like that's the shit that I'm looking forward to. That and just leaving an impact that not only like if I did something like that, I'd be happy passing. I'd be happy dying. I mean, I'd be happy dying once I know that I left something here that'll compound and help the world each day, every year, and that I can trust that the systems and people will carry it forward ethically and effectively. But it's a long way from now. So that's why you build step by step, but you still look at what each step will contribute to long term. That's what we got to figure out. Like, yeah, we can have the short term presidents or whatever, people who contribute and lead, even though most of them aren't. They just they're just a puppet for the. And I'm not saying that like they're a puppet. They still have their own individual beliefs and this and that, and their own hook on power. Why a lot of presidents get lobbied, and you can look this up once again. Like they will donate, they will give them money, and then next thing you know, a law gets passed that help that company make 150 to 100x what they paid for the lobbying or to the president. It's happened many, 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 many times over, and it will continue happening until we fucking do something. I don't know, man. There's just a lot going on in the world, and that's why I want to make this. It is isolating because everyone around me just accepts what is. I'm quite frankly tired of it. It's stopping with me in this family tree. It's stopping with me, and I'm fucking not allowing this family tree to continue being used or anybody. Appreciate you watching. Bye bye. And honestly, remember, it may seem pointless for you to try doing something. I do want to say this before I end it too, because again, I do work in AI, and most people aren't going to understand what I do in a way that they could, because again, I see the long term. I'm not looking at just short term shit. Because most people think that things are going to stay. Oh, AI is going to be AI replacing every role now is impossible, obviously. 15 years from now, or 10 years even, that won't be possible. It will be possible. And that's the thing that people don't understand. Things change, things evolve. It's not going to stay as it is right now. Look in history. That is the epitome of the understanding of things changing is by looking at history. You can't just think the world is going to stay as it is. Things are moving, whether you like it or not. The world's moving right now. There's people making deals. There's people dying. There's people being bombed. There's companies doing whatever they're doing at every single second that you're doing whatever you're doing. And the Sonder effect, like I said, like you have such a complex life and you have your own shit going on. You're not gonna just that's why they take advantage of it. They know that you have a lot going on and you have your own shit going on, so they don't want you to pay attention to what's actually going on. But like I said, AI can really do lots of good. It's so many people are making the industry look bad. And that's why it does suck working in the industry. And it's not even just AI that work in, it's just automation that's been around for fucking 30, 40 years. Not like 30 years. Automation's been around. It's like 1970, 80. You fill something on a website, you get an email back. Like that's some simple automation. It's been around forever. AI is just like the logical part where it can make a decision like a human could, like an agent. And those are what's gonna really fuck up the workspace. Really fuck the workspace. And you can say you're safe, maybe in your lifetime, um, if you're older, especially, and depending on your job. But even physical labor, like once robots are effective in traversing in the real world, it's game over. Military, all that they're going to be using robots, and then imagine robots killing people. Like that's the Terminator type shit that we're heading towards. And that's the thing; they always got to turn into weapons because again, if you don't have it, another country will have it, and this is the thing. They're always competing. It's incentivized for you to continue trying to be as powerful as possible, so that you know your neighbor doesn't become more powerful than you, and then you're kind of uh, like I said, AI can really save people a lot. Like we are the robots. That's what most people don't understand. The only reason a lot of people hate it is because yeah, they could like their job too, and they should always have like roles in ways where like there's someone who does that job, but they're doing higher leverage work where they can be managing systems that do the work, or they could be doing the work in their free time too, just as a hobby, something you love doing, because you won't have to be working a robotic role that makes you the robot. Most people are living like robots because like we are the robots. So that's why I don't see anything wrong with AI replacing us because we are not meant to fucking do this shit. We are not meant to do this. We're meant to experience, to learn, live, love everything, not to sit in front of a fucking computer. Like I'm doing that now for like obviously it's an unhealthy amount of time I do right now. But again, this is temporary because eventually I was going to pick up phone calls and direct and manage shit instead of having to be in front of a computer. I can actually have the free time to do what I want, to travel the world, to do whatever. That's why I'm spending all this time here now, so I can do that sooner than later. Because time compounds, it compounds heavily. And like I said, I feel that people deserve to live, not to be forced into a robotic role that makes you subhuman just to live. And that is that even living at that point? Where most of your time, your precious time of living that you have, that's more finite and more valuable than anything on this earth, your time of life, to be tied to a cost for something that's tangible, even though your time isn't. It's something that's incredibly finite and valuable. And it's not something you can just see. It's something you don't know. You don't know how much time you have left. That's why I say make the most of it. And that's why I believe AI really should replace everything. Because we finally have something that can give everybody their basic securities to make the world more efficient. Where, like we didn't need the work for the world to become what it is today, so that we have all these wants and needs that we could need at our fingertips. But we don't need that anymore. We're not going to. We could finally hand that off to the robots and even tax the robots so the companies, that have to pay tax, which will help a lot too. Which is a great idea heard by somebody. Like that's a great idea. Like taxing automation and AIs. Like that is a great idea for, being able to provide those basic securities on a governmental level. But yet again, nothing's going to change unless, like I said, look at the cost of military equipment. Like they're spending so recklessly that even your dollar is barely going a long way. It's barely doing anything because they're so shit at spending it. They're not spending on the right things. And there's even people in the military that are taking money from the military's budget. You can look into that too. Like there's money that's gone missing, hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a fucking joke. Genuinely, it's a fucking joke. But that's why we gotta build to a better future, each person at a time. Like I said, there's people fighting for your better life right now, and I will too, because you deserve it. I deserve it. Every single living, breathing, even our planet itself, they all deserve it for what we are capable of doing. Yeah, this definitely got longer than I wanted, but I don't care. I really just wanted to dump this out so I can look back at it and be like, damn. And when I do these things too, people look back and be like, damn, he was right. Like, like you really can do what you put your mind to. And I want to fucking prove that. You are so much more capable than you may think you are. You can become whoever you want to be. Just research, become independent, and you can craft your identity, become who you want to be, and live your dream life. To live a very fulfilling experience where you don't have 80% of your time going straight to another man's pocket because you get paid and then you spend that back on the economy, which goes back into their pockets, and it's just they did a great job. I cannot hate on it at some point because of that one thing. Like they did a great job at this, and I fucking hate it. But I'm gonna do it. So look back in the 5 years from now, I'll be there, and I'll be pushing even harder. I'll continue. I mean, continue going up because the more I make, the more I do, the more of the impact I can make and do. That's how I see it. That's why honestly I won't pay tax. I'll try not to pay tax so that my money actually goes somewhere that fucking does something instead of a wasteful budget that gets spent on slop and fucking even for 40%, 30% on interest. I'll do it. I'll do it. And you can too.